Hey everyone, Angie here. We are about 5 minutes away from um, beginning our yoga practice, so hopefully folks will start to join and we can get going. Um, if you do have yoga props at home, then you can grab at least one block, if not two. And go ahead and have that block or two handy. We'll be doing a little bit of work on the hands and knees, so if you are on a hard surface, then you might have an extra blanket underneath your knees for extra protection. Good. So just take the next 5 minutes to get prepared in whatever way you need to, and then we will get going. Hopefully everybody can hear me okay. We've got a few folks that are joining in right now. I think that's Cindy and Amber. Had to look. Welcome, you guys. Our focus tonight for our session is actually going to be on core strengthening. So we're going to be doing core strengthening in a sitting position on the hands and knees. We'll be doing some core stuff lying down. We'll be doing just a little bit of a vinyasa practice, so there'll be some sun salutes there for us. And this is a mixed level class, and so I'm going to be, if you've never done yoga with me before, I know a bunch of you guys have, but if you haven't, I'm going to be throwing out some various options for beginners, and then I'll usually say something along the effects of, if that feels okay, you can go a little bit, a step further, a little bit further, then do this, okay? And so, especially in this format online, streaming, I'm not there to watch you. I'm not there to make assists and adjustments, and so really be careful. Tune in and listen to yourself and honor what you need. All right, just 2 more minutes and we will get started. In addition to the core exercises that we're going to be doing, that core strengthening poses that we'll be doing, we will also be doing some work with back bends. And back bends are really interesting in yoga because, obviously we get opening through the shoulders, opening through the chest and heart center, opening through the back body. And so that's kind of what's going on for us physically, but symbolically, back bends represent trust in yourself. Because if you think about it, when we're moving into that back bend, we're kind of moving into the unknown. You can't really see what's behind you, so you have to trust. And so I think that's just a lovely symbolism for a back bend practice. So 1 more minute and we will get started. So we're going to begin in a sitting position. If you're not already sitting, if you wanted to, you could sit on the edge of your block or on the edge of your blanket. Either way is fine. If when you sit down your knees are higher than hip level, then that's just a physical indication that you need to go ahead and elevate your hips somehow with that block or with that blanket. Okay. So just about time. For those of you that have already joined, thank you for being patient. And then let's go ahead and get started. So bring the hands together at the heart center. Tuck your chin slightly. And namaste, everyone. you so much for joining me on this beautiful night. I hope you're as lucky as I am getting to practice outside. For those of you that were already here when I made the announcements before it, we may or may not need 2 blocks, but we will definitely need 1. And we'll be practicing bridge with this 1 block. And so if you don't have a block at home, that's okay. You can still practice without it. There is a restorative version that we're going to do with it, though. Our focus tonight is going to be on core strengthening and on deepening our back bend practice. All right, so we'll be doing a little bit of vinyasa. As I've already said to the early birds that joined, since we are streaming, just be really careful, listen to your body, honor what you need, go with only the option of the poses that honors your edge in each and every pose, okay? So just being mindful, keeping that body awareness as we practice, the mental practice of our mindfulness, and a piece of this daily practice, hopefully, that we are getting a chance to do. So sitting up nice and tall, we're just going to go inward. Roll the shoulders open. Let the chest lift slightly. And then rooting down through your sits bones, feel your weight evenly distributed between both sides. As we root down, we might be able to tap into this energy that's kind of bouncing off of the ground and then reaching back up through the midline of the body. So reaching the crown of the head up toward the sky, up toward the ceiling, but keeping your head in neutral positioning. So the chin is not lifted, chin is not tucked, chin is not jutting out. It's just like a balloon, your head, like a balloon floating on the neck. And for now, just allow your breathing to happen naturally, all on its own. I'm not really trying to manipulate the breath in any way. Just tapping into what your resting rhythm is. And also just getting a general sense of how you feel in your physical body. So bring the body into alignment and then just tapping in, seeing how we feel. See if we can keep the chest relatively level, but at the same time, that navel is moving. So as we keep the chest level and we inhale, the navel reaches outward slightly. And as we breathe out and keep the chest level, the navel reaches back inward, slightly upward. So a few more breaths here. As always, if an intention comes up for your practice, you can take a little bit of time to set that intention for yourself now. And when you're ready, you can bring your gaze back to neutral or blink your eyes open depending if the eyes are closed or open. And then we're just going to take our time transitioning. So we're changing the crossing of our legs here. So then we're probably now in our non-dominant crossing, just sitting up nice and tall. So we're going to actually start with some trunk circles. And so we're going to inhale and come forward and to the left. And then as we exhale, we're going to come back into the right. So keep that going. Inhale forward into your left. Exhale back into your right. We'll do that 3 more times in this direction. You can kind of use your arms, your hands pressing into the legs to help stabilize these circles that we're doing. And then the next time you come back forward to center, then we're just going to move to the right side and back, and then to the left and forward. So keep that going 4 more times. And 3. Slightly activating through your core to help support your lower back. Good. And then back to center. Sitting upright, inhale. As you exhale, tuck your chin towards your chest. Inhale, roll your head toward your right side. And then exhale, chin back towards your chest. Inhale, roll your head to the left. Exhale, chin to the chest. And then just going back and forth. Every inhalation, we're visiting one side. Keep the shoulders rolled open, shrug down. Every exhalation, we're tucking the chin. Inhale, other side. Let's go to each side 1 more time. And then we'll end with the chin tucked in toward the chest. Inhale, lifting your head back to a neutral position. So I'm going to turn to the side to show you guys our next pulse. We're going to keep the legs crossed like they are. And we're going to go into a little more core strengthening. So we were just bracing the core to do the circles, but we're going to go into some deeper work here. So bring your hands out in front of you, and your index fingers are together. We're reaching the arms out. And so here's the pulse. I would inhale, come forward, kind of leaning forward. And then as I exhale, I'm going to come back, but I'm going to keep my chest lifted, keep my back extended as I just lift the knees. This is what beginners will do, okay? But if we can go a step further without rounding the back and lift the legs, that's what we'll do if we're a little more advanced in this pose. So inhale forward, exhale crisscross boat pose, either just lifting the knees or the feet. This is our Navasana boat pose. Inhale forward, exhale back. 2 more, inhale forward, exhale back. And last time, inhale forward and exhale back. And then take a big breath in, release the arms down, roll the shoulders open as you exhale. And then scoot over a little bit so you can see my fingertips are on the ground. Okay, so I have this lift and extension through the midline of the body. So I'm just going to inhale and look up. And so for some of us, we might be right here in this seated back bend. If you can go a step further, though, think about bringing the heels of the hands down, pointing your fingers toward your glutes, okay? Pointing the fingers forward. That's our next step. If you can go a little bit further, they're going to press through the legs, cat tilt to lift your hips. And this is sort of a half inverted plank because we do have our knees on the ground. But we have this big cat tilt, big back bend taking place, squeezing the shoulders together. Maybe the hips are lowered, that's fine. Take 1 more breath wherever you are. And then as you exhale, slowly coming back upright. From here, we're going to come on to the hands and the knees. So just take your time, finding that positioning for yourself. We're actually going to have the heels of the hands right underneath the shoulders. And then your knees are going to be right underneath your hips. And we're going to come into another little vinyasa, another little flow. And that's our Chakravarkasana. So we inhale from this neutral position into a dog tilt. Drop your navel, lift your sits bones and the crown of the head slightly up, but mostly focus on extending through your midline. And then as you exhale, pull your navel in, tuck your chin, really press the hands and the knees and the tops of the feet to round into scared cat pose. Inhale, come into your dog tilt, back into cow. Exhale, cat. 3 more like that. Inhale. Cow. Exhale. Cat. Keep that going twice more. And then press your hips back into child's pose. This is our first child's pose of our session. Maybe the knees are hip width, maybe the knees are separated wide. Just see what's available to you. Let your forehead either rest on the ground, or if we need a little bit of height, that's okay. You can stack the fist and rest your forehead on the stacked fist. Just see what feels good to you. And know that at any point in time, you can come and rest in this pose in Balasana unless you have knee issues. If you have knee issues, then you would just flip this pose upside down like this and hug the knees into the chest. This is our Uttanasana pose. All right, so see what works for you. Make this practice your own. Take one more breath, either on the back or in your child's pose. And then we're slowly going to come up onto the hands and the knees and come into our next core strengthener. So from hands and knees, we're going to actually take the right knee a little closer in toward your midline. Inhale, extend the left leg back behind you. Exhale, pull the knee in toward the head toward the knee. And inhale, reach back out. So it's kind of like that Chakrapakasana pulsing. We're just adding the leg. If it's too much to add the leg, then just come back into that dog tilt, cat tilt like we were doing before. 3. Let's do 2 more. 1 more. And then inhale, extend that left leg back behind you. Exhale, bend the knee. Either stay right here or see if you can reach back with your right hand and grab hold of that left foot for sort of a half alternating bow, pushing the foot into the hand. Take 1 more breath wherever you are. As the breath flows out, let go of the foot if you had it. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So now that left knee is going to come a little closer in towards your midline so that we can be balanced and extend that right leg back. Inhale. Exhale. Pull the knee in toward the head toward the knee rounding. 4 more. Inhale, reach out. Extend. Exhale. Rounding, really squeezing your navel in. And then keep that going. 3 more. Inhale. Exhale, pulling in. Inhale, reach. Exhale, drawing in. Last one. Inhale, reach. And exhale, drawing in. Inhale, extend that right leg back behind you. Exhale, bend the knee. Either just keep the foot like it is, or see if you can reach back with that left hand. Grab hold the right foot. Maybe push the foot into the hand for that half alternating bow. 1 more breath. And release the knee back down. We're going to come back into a sitting position. But this time, come into your opposite crossing, your non-dominant crossing. So however you naturally are inclined to cross the legs, just change that crossing. It'll probably feel a little different. And then we're going to come into those trunk circles and basically repeat that same sequence that we did with the legs in the opposite crossing. So inhale, coming forward into your left. Exhale, back as we slightly cat tilt, pull the navel in and to the right. Keep that going. Inhale, forward to the left. Exhale, back to the right. Nice opening stretch through the back body, but also in your hips. 1 more in this direction. And then coming back to center, pausing, then moving to the right side, back and left, and keep that going. Forward, right, back, and left. 3 more. going. One more. And back to center, pressing yourself back upright. So I'm going to turn to the side again. Keep your legs crossed in that positioning though. I'm kind of on a hill, so I do the best I can here. I'm going to reach my arms out and bring the index fingers together and kind of the Charlie's Angels mudra here. So we inhale forward, and I'm not trying to go down, all right? I'm just reaching straight out ahead of me. And then as I exhale, I'm either just going to activate the core and lift the knees and kind of lift up onto the toes, the outer edges of the feet, or I might be able to come into that crisscross bow, Navasana. Inhale forward, exhale, pull the navel in, Navasana. Keep going, inhale forward, exhale. And two more, forward, exhale. Try to keep that chest lifted forward, and exhale. And then coming back to center, releasing the arms, rolling the shoulders open. Bring your fingertips back behind you. And first we're up on the fingertips, like this at first, okay? Shoulders are rolled open. We're nice and tall through the spine, and we just look up toward the sky. Either stay on your fingertips or make it a little deeper of a back bend by coming onto the heels of the hands. And notice how you really have to squeeze the shoulder blades together as you move deeper. Really have to broaden through your chest. And so then we're looking up towards the ceiling, but it's also like we're reaching the heart center up toward the ceiling, towards the sky at the same time. Either keep your hips grounded or press the lower legs, cat tilt, and lift your hips as you come into this sort of half inverted plank variation here. Squeezing the shoulder blades. One more breath wherever you are. And then if your hips are lifted, go ahead and lower them down as you come upright. And then bring your hands out in front of you. We're going to come back to the hands and the knees. So we're essentially going to repeat, hugging the knee in, extending the leg out, but we're going to bump it up a notch for those of us that can go a step deeper by doing that pulse with our knees off of the ground in downward facing dog. So if that becomes too intense for you, for the wrists or your lower back or anywhere at all, lower the knees back down and just come back into our dog tilt and cat tilt variation that we were doing before. All right, but otherwise, curl the toes and be really mindful of how you're holding your weight on your hands. Maybe pressing through the fingers and the thumb pads, not dumping down into the heels, the hands, and the wrists. So hands and knees, curl the toes, send your hips up into our first downward facing dog. And so then we're going to come into three-legged dog by extending the right leg up, inhale. And then as we exhale, we hug that knee in toward the head toward the knee, slightly pressing forward. And then inhale, coming back up. Exhale, hugging in. Nice and controlled. Inhale up for 3, pulling that navel in. Exhale. Inhale up for 4. Exhale. Inhale up for 5. Last one. And then step that right foot through. Lower the left knee down to the ground. So here is where, if you need blocks under the hands for your lunges, you can do that. That's fine. Or you might be perfectly fine with your hands on the ground to see what's available for you here. Now, from this lowered position, we're eventually going to be making ourselves upright. And so, coming upright, if you need to stay low, then stay low. And we're actually going to approach a back bend from here. So let your left hand just kind of rest on this left leg, kind of towards the back of that left thigh, the hamstring. And then inhale, right arm reaches up. And we might just stay here in our back bend, or we might be able to start kind of letting the hips come forward into a cat tilt, looking up towards the sky. directing the heart center up towards the sky. Take one more breath wherever you are. And then exhale. Hands come back down to the mat. We're going to step back into our plank and do our first vinyasa. Just a little beginner vinyasa. Shift forward on the toes. Lower your knees. Lower with control as you hug your elbows in toward your body. Inhale, baby cobra. Exhale and lower. Inhale, pressing up to your hands and knees. Curl your toes. Exhale, downward facing dog. And we're just going to repeat that same sequence other side. So this time the left leg reaches up, inhale. And we exhale, hug the knee in toward the head toward the knee. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hugging in. And then 3 more. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, drawing the navel in. Keep that going. Inhale. Exhale, drawing in. Last one, inhale. Exhale, drawing in. Step that left foot through. Right knee comes to the ground. And we might just stay low, hands on the ground, or hands on your block. Blocks are really helpful when we do lunges. They just kind of provide us with a little more space. Of course, if you can come upright, then go ahead and do that. Coming upright. At first, resting your hands on that left thigh, but then rolling the right shoulder open, placing the right hand kind of lightly on that right hamstring, reaching the left arm up. And you might just stay upright, or you might be able to start, pressing the hips towards that cat tilt, looking up towards the sky, shining your chest up toward the sky. One more breath. Exhale. Hands come back down to the mat, lifting your back knee, stepping back into downward facing dog. So for this down dog, we're just going to pedal, really pulling the navel in the whole time, as though you're trying to reach the spine with the navel. Take a couple more breaths here. And then we're just going to slowly walk the feet toward the top of our mats so we end up in a forward fold. My knees have a really slight bend, a micro bend, in order to avoid locking. I want to keep up with that our entire session. You might be in a much deeper bend. If you feel any kind of strain through your lower back, tenderness there, you're going to deepen the bend of the knees. Just take that strain out. So hanging out here for a few breaths. Two more breaths there. And then bending the knees really deeply if you don't have them bent already. You're going to roll the way up to standing, coming all the way up. And so just take your time here, feet hip width apart. We're rooting down through all 4 corners of each foot. We're dropping the tailbone down, lifting the lower abdominal muscles up, and that's going to give us a lot of space in the lower back. Also, if we're lifting those lower abdominal muscles up, we're activating through the core, and that's going to give us more support and safety for the lower back. So hands at the chest. Inhale, reaching out and up. Exhale into your fold. Inhale up partway, flatten your back here, either lifting up onto the fingertips or the hands are in front of the shins. And then exhale into your fold. Remember, the knees are slightly bent at least, if not deeper. And then on the next inhalation, knees are bent. You reach the arms out and up, you look up. Exhale, hands come to rest at the chest. And again, inhale, reaching out and up, looking up. Exhale, folding over the legs. Inhale up partway, flat back here. And then exhale into your fold. Inhale, sweep the arms out wide, coming up. And exhale, hands to the rest of the chest. One more half salute. Inhale, reaching out and up. Exhale, folding. Inhale, up, partway, flat back. And then exhale into your fold. Inhale, slight bend through the knees. Start lifting out and up. Exhale, hands come to rest of the chest. We're going to come into our full salutes now. Surya Namaskara. Inhale, reaching out and up. Exhale into your fold. Inhale up, partway, flat back. And then exhale and fold. Hands to the mat. We're going to step, or you could hop back into plank. Shift forward on the toes. Lower the knees. Or full chaturanga all the way down. Inhale, cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale and lower. Inhale, hands and knees or plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. So notice I'm throwing out options, and you're just going to go with which option works best for you, your body, and your practice. Slowly walk or step or hop your feet to the top of the mat. Coming up partway, flat back, inhale. And then exhale into your fold. Inhale, sweeping out and up. Exhale, hands to the rest at the chest. And just taking a moment here to check in with yourself. I'm actually going to move inside because it's really loud with power tools out here, which didn't start until I had started my class, but oh well. We will make do by doing our session inside instead, since it's so incredibly loud outside. All right, so let me get some lighting for us. You get it nice and quiet in here. And when we do yoga, we are flexible, not only in the body. So hopefully it's not too dark in here, but it certainly is a lot quieter. So this will be better. So here we go, back into our sun salutes. I can get this where we can see. Sorry guys. Doing this on the fly. You can see my sleeping doggies being bad on the couch. Okay, here we go. So back to the top of the mat, hands at the chest where we left off. Okay. And then we're going to come back into our sun salute. So hands at the chest. Okay. Inhale, reaching out and up. Exhale into your fold, and then inhale up partway, flat back. Exhale, fold. Stepping or hopping back into plank. Shift forward, either lower the knees or maybe full chaturanga. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Pull the navel in like we've been doing, breathing deeply. One more big breath in here. Walking, stepping, or hopping your feet to the top of your mat. Coming up partway, flat back, inhale. As we exhale, fold. Inhale, knees are bent, reaching the arms out wide, coming up. Exhale, hands come to rest at the chest. All right, so we're going to do a little bit with our high lunges. So inhale, reaching out and up. Exhale, folding. Inhale up partway, flatten the back here. Exhale into your fold. Stepping back, right foot. Now, if we wanted to make this a low lunge like we did before, we would lower that right knee back down, okay? Otherwise, we keep that knee lifted. We also have the option of spinning the back heel down if we needed to, like we would for Warrior 1 or Warrior 2. If we are really challenging ourselves with balance, we're going to stay on the ball of the back foot instead here, okay? And then if you are doing that option, you're on the ball of the back foot, bend that back knee, drop your tailbone down, And then see if you can keep that space you've just created in your lower back as you extend that back leg again. Reach your arms up here. Crescent lunge. Remember, you might have your heel on the ground, and that's your warrior one. Either way, frontal hip bones and chest facing towards the top of the mat as best they can. Big breath in. As the breath flows out, bring your hands back down, stepping back into plank, shifting forward, and either lowering the knees or chaturanga. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. And then this time we're going to step the right foot forward. So maybe lift that right leg up, inhale. Exhale, step it through. Find your balance. Remember, if you need to have that back knee down, low lunge, you can, and that's fine. Or we could have this back heel spun down and on the ground, or we're on the ball of the back foot, crescent lunge. Reach your arms up. Breathing here. Good, one more breath. And then hands come back down to the mat. We're going to shift the weight forward, stepping that back foot forward, coming up part way, flatten your back. Exhale, hold. Inhale, sweep the arms out wide, coming up. And then exhale, hands come to rest at the chest. Breathing. Checking in with yourself, noticing how you're feeling. And then we're just going to do a little bit of a balance practice, a moving balance. And for this, we have to keep the core engaged. And this is sort of a Qigong exercise. So you might have done this before with me. The lower body, all we're really doing here is we're just lifting the heels and lowering them back down with control, lifting up and lowering down. Okay, so that's what the lower body does. The upper body, we're just inhaling, clasping the fingers low, rising them up through the midline of the body, and then pressing the tops of the hands up towards the ceiling, and then exhale, floating the arms back down. Good. So arms only for a few times. Inhale, pressing up. Exhale, floating the arms down. And keep that going. Inhale, arms reach up. Press up. Exhale, floating down. So at whatever point you're ready, you can start to lift your heels while at the same time the arms lift. And then as the arms lower down, the heels lower down. We're trying to do this with control. It's a lot easier to control the arms in this than it is the heels. So just do the best you can here. Keep it going. Several more times. Really helps to find something to focus your gaze on. Keep your gaze soft but steady. And that really helps with us being able to maintain our balance. Let's do 2 more of these. Keeping the core activated, strong. Keeping that tailbone dropping down. One last breath. And then exhale, floating the arms down. Then again, just kind of checking in with yourself. A couple breaths here. Noticing how you're feeling. And then again, coming back to the top of your mat. So we're going to come into essentially a warrior 2 flow, where we'll be in warrior 2, and then we're going to reverse warrior, and then we'll come into our extended side angle. And so how is that core work? Well, it's core work because we're going to make it really graceful, these movements. And in order to do that, we have to keep that core braced, okay? And that's going to strengthen the core. So, hands at the heart. Inhale, reaching out and up. Look up as the palms touch. Exhale into your fold. And then inhale, partway, flatten your back. Exhale, fold. We're going to step that left foot back first, high lunge. Spin the back heel down, and then windmill your arms up into warrior two. So for warrior two, I have my front knee, my right knee bent, and I'm doing what I can to keep the knee over the ankle rather than letting it go forward. Okay, I want to keep it over the ankle instead. Activate your core. Inhale, reach back into that reverse warrior. So very little weight in that left hand. We're using the core strength to hold the body up instead. And then as we exhale, we bring the right forearm to the thigh, and we reach that left arm either straight up for the shoulder or over the left side of the head. So side angle or extended side. All right, so let's flow with that. Inhale, reach back. Exhale into that side angle or extended side. Nice and graceful. A few more times like that. Inhale, reach back. Exhale, graceful side angle. One more pulse like that. Inhale, reach back. Exhale, side angle or extended side. And then inhale, coming back into that warrior two. Exhale, like you're going to do a cartwheel. Bring your hands down either side of that front foot. Pivot on the ball of the back foot. And we'll do our vinyasa from here. So stepping back into plank. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale, lower. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. So I'm just going to turn to the other side, because this time we're going to step our right foot, or no, actually step our left foot forward and spin the right heel down. When you're ready, windmill the arms up, warrior two on this other side. So left knee now is bent over that ankle. All right. So you should actually be able to peek down on the inside of your left knee and see your big toe. And that means that the knee is where it needs to be. So inhale, reaching back, reverse warrior. Remember, very little weight in this right hand on the leg. And then exhale, very little weight through that left forearm on the left thigh as we reach the right arm either straight up from the shoulder or over the right side of the head. Inhale, reaching back. Exhale, and coming into that side angle. 3 more times. Inhale, reaching back. Exhale, side angle. Keep that going. Core is braced. That's what keeps these movements so controlled, so graceful. 1 more pulse. Back. And into that side angle. And then reaching back up into warrior two briefly. Inhale. Exhale, cartwheel the hands down. Spinning on the ball of the back foot. Last vinyasa, stepping back plank. Inhale, shift forward. Lower the knees or chaturanga. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. 3 big breath here, down dog. One more breath, really pressing back through the hands. And then slowly start to lower your knees. And we'll just come into a sitting position. I'm actually going to bring the camera a little bit closer. So we're just coming to that sitting position here. Sukhasana, easy sitting pose. And so that we're all on the same page, why don't we have the right leg in front? Okay. So the right leg is crossed in front for us. All right. And I'm just going to get a nice little gentle yet nurturing shoulder stretch before we move on. So reach your arms out and then just hug yourself. And then we're trying to reach the fingers, the hands back as far as we can onto the back body. And then we just sort of use the hands, the fingers to spread the skin as we kind of pull it forward. A nice little stretch through the shoulders and upper back. Take 1 more breath. And then extend your arms out. Inhale. Exhale, other side. Hugging. Chest. Sitting up nice and tall. Even sitting, we're having to activate through the core. One more breath and release. Rolling the shoulders open. Take your left hand out to the side, right arm up and over. Keep that right hip grounded. One more breath. And then slowly coming back upright. Right hand on the ground. Left arm up and over. Keep that left hip grounded. And then back up. And then we're going to extend this right leg out to the side, get into the inner thigh before we lie down for our reclined kind of part of our practice. So sitting up nice and tall, inhale. As we exhale, we're just going to fold forward. So you're going to feel this through that right inner thigh. Tuck the chin slightly, keep the neck long. Take one more breath. And then just slowly walking your hands back in as you come upright. Change the legs out. So extend that left leg. Right heel comes in towards the groin. Inhale. Exhale, fold. And just notice the difference between side to side. Is it any different taking the fold with your left leg extended than it was with the right? Maybe one side is a little more open than the other. Usually that's the case. So one more breath wherever you are. And then very slowly just use your hands to help you press back upright. So hopefully we feel good about reclining. If you needed to stay upright for a little bit longer, then do that until you're ready to come into a reclined position. If you feel like your blood pressure's up, just take a little bit of time and recline when you can. I'm going to grab a block because I forgot to bring my block from outside when we came in. So let me grab that. Got one in here. I just need to grab it. Okay, so we're going to do several core strengthening exercises lying down. The first one that we're going to do will require us to squeeze the block with our thighs. And so we're going to have the block, like if these are the legs, if my hands are the legs, the block's going to be like that, okay? Just in case you can't tell. All right, so I have the block like that. And then if you have lower back issues, you're going to keep your feet on the ground, but just squeeze that block in between the inner thighs, okay? But if you are able to lift your knees, lift your feet off of the ground rather, then that's going to make it a little more intensive. And so we're just squeezing that block in with the inner thighs, okay? Now, some of us might have to stay right here or here with the feet on the ground. Just see what's available to you. Either way, see if you can lift your head, maybe the shoulders off of the ground. Reach your arms out, kind of in front of you, or by your sides, fingers facing in front of you. And we just inhale, center. And as we exhale, we're going to bring the right hand to touch the right foot. Inhale, center. Exhale, left hand touches the left foot. Center, right, center, left, center. Keep pulling that navel in. Right, center, left, center, right, center, left, center, right, center, left. Just one more time each side. Just doing 5 per side. Going back to center. And then lowering everything down. Taking the block out from in between the thighs. And we're going to move from there. And so for this one, I might have to move the phone a little bit, the camera a little bit to show you, because we're going to be extending the legs on this one. So extending the legs up in sort of a resting shoulder stand, restorative shoulder stand. Okay. Flexing our feet. Arms are out by our sides to help stabilize the body. Inhale, and as you exhale, keep the feet flexed and let that left leg travel down. It might only be able to come, about right here. Maybe it can't come down anymore tonight without arching your back. Okay, you want to keep your core activated and try to keep that that core active, that core girdle active. Inhale, back up. Exhale, lower the right leg, and then inhale, back up. And that's our pulse. Exhale, left leg lowers. Inhale, back up. Exhale, right leg lowers. Inhale, up. Keep it going. Exhale, left. Inhale, lift. Exhale, right. And lift. 2 more per side. Left. And lift. And right. And back up. 1 more time per side. Left. And lift. And right. And back up. And then lower the feet back down to the ground. We're going to take our block and we're going to come into bridge. So this time, if my hands are the feet, then that's how the block is going to go. It's going to be kind of flat in between the inner edges of your feet like that. Whoops. And then with the block in that positioning, we're going to try to hug the heels as close into the hips as we can. All right. And so squeezing the inner edges of the feet into the block. Inhale and start to lift your hips. Keep your head center. And as you exhale, lower back down. 4 more. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, lower. 3 more. Inhale. Keep squeezing the inner edges of the feet into the block. And inhale up. And exhale. 1 more time. Inhale up. Stay up this time, right where you are, or see about maybe clasping your hands underneath you and wriggling up higher onto your shoulders. Still squeezing the feet in toward that block. 3 more breaths here. When we're squeezing the feet into the block, it keeps the knees from splaying out to the side. Also activates the core more. So releasing the hands if you had that clasp going, and then lowering your hips back down. Good. And then just moving your block out of your way. We're going to cross the outer right ankle over the top of the left thigh. And you can either grab hold of that inner ankle with your left hand, or we can just have both arms by our sides and do this hands free. But we're just going to rock side to side a little bit, kind of rolling to the inner edge and then the outer edge of that left foot on the ground. And then when you're ready, on a big exhalation, take that right foot all the way across the body to rest on your block or on the ground. I'm trying to show you my foot here. And then just looking up toward the ceiling or turning your head and looking toward your right side. And slowly bringing your head back to center, rolling your hips back to center, uncrossing the legs. I'll do the same thing on the other side. So turn. Take the outer edge of that left foot over the top of your right thigh. Reach your arms out by your sides. Remember, if you want to make it a little more intense, you would hold on to the inner ankle. And so you would rock back and forth. And then when you were ready, you would just keep hold of that ankle, put that foot on the ground, and come into the expression of this twist that way. Either looking up toward the ceiling or turning your head and looking towards your left side. Coaxing that left shoulder down. One more breath. And then slowly bringing the head back to center, slowly rolling the hips back to center, uncrossing the leg, and then just taking your time setting up for Shavasana. So whatever pillows or blankets or any other little props that you want to grab that you might need are fine. I'm going to sit up so that it's easier for me to sort of talk us through. And so take your time coming into a comfortable resting position. Use whatever props you need. If you have an eye pillow, you could use an eye pillow here. If you need extra lower back support, put a blanket or a mat under your knees, or just keep the knees bent with the soles of the feet on the ground. And then just start to bring your awareness to the eyes, softening the eyes, whether they're open or closed. Feeling your eyes resting behind your cheeks. Feeling the cheeks sort of broaden their way outward from the nose toward the ears. Releasing tension through the face. Letting go of any tension in your jaw. And one little trick to do that, if you are one that kind of struggles with tightness of the jaw, clenching through the jaw, which is a common thing, try resting your tongue on the roof of your mouth, slightly pressing the tongue up to the roof of the mouth. Let your upper teeth slightly part from your lower teeth while keeping your lips closed, keeping your mouth closed. And see if that doesn't help release some of that tension. If we can release the tension through the jaw, we can start to relax the muscles through the throat and neck, down into our shoulders. Shoulders are rolled open even though we're lying down. Back of the skull resting heavy on the ground or pillow, whatever you have underneath it. So you feel the back of the skull making contact with the ground. Backs of the shoulders resting underneath you. Weight is evenly distributed as you can muster. And we just send that release, that relaxation down the body. So down the upper back, down the front body, front of the chest area, heart center. And keep moving that relaxation down over the solar plexus area into the mid-back area, back body, solar plexus, front body. All the way down into the abdomen, navel, front body, lower back, back body. Just getting in touch with this wave of rolling breath. So as we inhale, that wave rolls up the torso. And as we exhale, that wave sort of rolls back down the torso to the navel. And then bringing the awareness back up into your shoulders, relaxing through the arms. The arms are resting on the ground. Let the arm bones be heavy. From there, getting back in touch with that rolling breath, rolling up and down the torso. Inhaling, rolling up the torso toward the collarbone region, broadening. Exhale, rolling back down toward the navel. And then let that action help send this relaxation into the lower body, into the hips, into the upper legs, glutes, all the way down to your feet. And just like we did with the arms, as best you can, let the leg bones rest heavy. The muscle can move away from the bone, releasing its grip. go of any leftover physical or mental tension as best you can. At least, sending out that invitation, and then see what happens. So just a few more breaths here. And then when you're ready, you may decide to come back upright and complete your practice, or maybe you need a little more time in Shavasana. Either way is fine. You're just, again, right here till the very end, honoring what you need, being aware of what you need and honoring it. If you are coming back upright, then just take your time doing so. Be really intentional about taking that seat when you do. And the palms come together at the heart center. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I'm sorry we had to change in the middle. But again, we're flexible. We do what we can. And we just adapt. So I hope you have a restful evening. And join me next Tuesday at 6 for another practice. Namaste. And so I'm just going to show you guys before I sign off how my puppies have opted to stay in Shavasana for a little bit longer. They look very comfy. All right, guys. Good night. Thank you for joining again, and take care.